We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's.
Did the CIA write Wind of Change by the Scorpions?
As humans busied themselves about the various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied.
Dr. Loeb, what percentage chance do you give it that you have indeed uncovered extraterrestrial or non-human technology?
With infinite complacence, people went about their affairs, yet across an immense ethereal gulf, intellects vast and unsympathetic drew their plans against us.
Prior to your abduction, did you believe in UFOs or any sort of alien life form?
All things unexplained.
So some of that, I think, sir, we'll save for closed session.
Let me talk a little about the weather part of this. We just had a ham friend take a couple of our balloons down, and he went to Antarctica. He got a grant, a scientific grant, to go down to Antarctica to the German Niemeyer station in Antarctica, and he launched about 11 Pico balloons from Antarctica. And the study basically was to see how or what type data we might could get from these little Pico balloons that, maybe cost, $40, $50 and stay up for days and days and days at a time. How would that compare with launching a big, expensive balloon with helium and, expensive equipment hanging below it and so forth? So a study is going on right now to see what we can do to help maybe reduce some of those weather balloons. I can't tell you all the differences it might seem, but I'm sure there are many differences that sensors in a balloon might could pick up that maybe the weather radar would not.
That's right. And George, it's my understanding that NOAA uses the weather balloons also to help them in forecasting future weather. So the ability to detect certain things that can allow them to make patterns and do the 7-day forecast, for example.
Now that I know how many weather balloons go up every day, it makes more sense that every time there's some sort of UFO, people are like, it's a weather balloon. Well, sounds like there's a lot of them out there. So maybe it is.
There's a lot
well,
out
you
there.
had mentioned a few, you've mentioned a few really important key details that I want to circle back around to. We have been, again, tracking this balloon situation for a couple of weeks now. And since Tim is so passionate about it, and trust me, I fear even doing this right now, but I'm going to have him give us just a brief, and Tim, I mean brief synopsis. People can tune into our other podcasts to get the whole dish, but a brief synopsis of what has been going on with the balloons so we can circle back to Tom's details about the size of the ones that he launches, the weight, the FAA regulations, etc.
Well, sure, just really brief. And of course, we feel like our listeners kind of know about this already, but we had the spy balloon, right, went over Alaska, Canada, across the continental United States. They say crossed a lot of sensitive military sites. We finally shot it down off the coast of the Carolinas, right? Then over Super Bowl weekend, and by the way, now we're all in arms in an uproar over balloons, and UFOs. And then Super Bowl weekend, right, the most unprecedented, once-in-a-lifetime situation starts happening. We start getting notices that our military is shooting down UFOs. Mind-blowing. Not since 1947. Roswell, New Mexico has headlines like that come out. And literally then in 1947, the headlines were flying saucer shot down. Next day, headlines were, whoops, it was a balloon. So it's really funny how history has repeated itself now, all these years, decades later, 2023. And it started with a UFO over Alaska being shot down over Deadhorse or near Deadhorse, Alaska, and apparently out, landed onto some frozen ocean. And I can't wait to circle back with Tom later on that because he said so many key details there, which, as far as I know, has not been in the public knowledge with this situation. Okay, the official search for that UFO that was taken down over Alaska, abandoned. Can't find any of the debris. The weather's and the terrain's too difficult. Search is abandoned. Next, we had a UFO taken down over, I believe Canada was next. Okay. There have been no details about that. And by the way, I believe they said that the Alaska balloon was, let's see here. That it was car-sized originally is what they said. And I'll circle back with this with Tom later. And then over Canada, shot down. No further information on it. And then we shot down one over Lake Huron. It was described as smaller than the spy balloon. How could it not be? Because that thing was big as 3 school buses. It was octagon-shaped with strings hanging off of it. So that search has been abandoned as well for the UFOs shot down over Lake Huron. And I basically feel like the news about the Northern Illinois bottle cap balloon brigade's balloon disappearing over Alaska, that story came out, and the Pentagon has shut it down. No other information, almost as if they want us to believe that, yes, indeed, these were all hobby balloons that were taken out by missile.
So let's dive into that, because our F-22s shot down things with very expensive missiles, and we were left to believe that nobody knew at the end of the day what it was. So Tom, dive in a little bit here to this one that was shot down over Alaska, and how it connects to this North Illinois bottle cap balloon brigade.
All right. I think the car size is a little bit stretching it here. Our balloons are about 32 inches in diameter, very small cylinders, or spheres, actually. There are some Pico balloons out there that are more spherical shaped. They may be 8 feet long and maybe a couple feet in diameter, look more like a cigar, but not many of those are flying. But, the military or spokesman says they can't find it. The one I'm referring to the Yukon, They say, we're not going to claim it was a party balloon or a hobby balloon until we find it. Well, they're never going to find it, and I can tell you why. And if we were on video tonight, I was going to show you one of the balloons here. It is made, the material is so thin, we have to be very careful handling it, or it'll get a hole in it. It's 1 mil thick. That's 1/1000th of an inch thick. And the little tractor that we built, and the one flying was a little bit larger, but the tractor we built, again, is postage stamp size. Now, when that rocket exploded up there, it probably vaporized that little balloon. I mean, there's no pieces of that balloon's going to be found. And probably, even if the tractor didn't break apart, you're never going to find a little 1-inch square thing down on the ground somewhere, out in the middle of the water or the snow or something, And so why do we think that it's there? Well, as I said on the show last night, I'm 98% sure it was this ham radio balloon. And, maybe 2% it could have been an alien, I don't know. But I think it was a ham balloon. And the reason was we were tracking it. And the last track we got, it was on the west coast of Alaska. And it got dark. And see, our Pico balloons don't transmit during the dark because they're solar power only.
Oh.
But they continue on. And when the sun comes up the next day, it starts plotting again. So we can see, where it is.
Thanks. Like. Share. Follow. Comment. Subscribe. Support. What's your hot take on Travis Taylor?
I've got an exclusive for you guys if you want it about the Alaska.
We do.
Okay.
More at BigfootUFO.com.
All things unexplained.
So some of that, I think, sir, we'll save for closed session.